Surrounded by. I am surrounded by.
I'm often surrounded by.
The entire system is surrounded by
Freaking idiots.
Surrounded by them. Idiots.
All right, welcome everybody to the S.B.I Podcast. Today we are here with one of the most sought after DJs in the country. He's DJ'd for everybody. From Robert De Niro, Bill Clinton, Kanye West, Usher, Ben Stiller, Heidi Klum. There were other names on this list, but you know, he's DJ for everybody, so some people get canceled. Listen,
100%.
Sundance Film Festival, Tribeca Film Festival, the U.S. Open. You name it, he's played it. Live, One Oak, Studio Paris. He's co-hosted the Oscars Red Carpet Show. The guy is the legend, and I'm proud to call him my brother, DJ MOS.
Thanks for having me. That's quite an intro, man.
Come on, bro.
I'm gonna need that for like a show or something.
DJ MOS. Man, it's funny. We've been at this point. It's been how many years we've known each other? Since like 2014.
Yes, it's at least 14. It's been a
Yeah,
minute,
bro.
It's been a minute.
And it's crazy. So we're always in clubs. We're always partying. It's like, well, used to be more partying. Now it's a whole lot more grinding.
Oh my God.
Trust me, I know. But we would always see each other in these spaces. But you know, you're my brother, but there's so many things I already don't know about your story.
Right.
And I was like, man, like you'd be a perfect person to have on the podcast.
Yeah.
So.
You know, those nights were always like, you know, having a good time, like, you know,
Yeah.
vibing, whatever. So it's like you don't get a chance to really get a person's backstory. So
Yeah,
I get it.
and you're supplying the music, so that kind of
Yeah, I'm barely talking.
fucking work. I'm just in the back with his bottle, like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
But so grew up in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
what part of
born
New
and
York?
raised in New York. Was born in Brooklyn. Lived in Queens for like 8-9 years.
Okay.
South Jamaica, Queens. Funny enough, I grew up across the street from 50 Cent.
Oh shit,
His grandmother's house was right across the street from my grandmother's house. So,
that's wild.
yeah, he was a little older than me, so you know we weren't like hanging out.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I was told not to hang out on that stoop.
they could see where that was headed.
Yeah. But yeah, I could be part of G Unit.
That's hilarious.
You know, so lived in Queens for like 9 years, then moved to White Plains, Westchester County. So
Okay.
grew up there, and that's kind of like where I spent most of my like, you know, I wouldn't say childhood, but like, you know, high school years.
Okay. And what was your like family dynamic like? Were they musical people? Or?
Yeah, so like both my great aunts on my dad's side were classically trained pianists.
Oh wow.
So my parents put me in piano lessons when I was like 5. So I was doing piano recitals. I did that from like 5 to like 9. I was doing that, yeah. So my parents are really heavily into music. Like my dad was the lead singer of a band when he was at Howard University, and you know, my parents just always playing. Just, you know, again, we're West Indian, we're Guyanese, both sides of my family, so a lot of like soca, that kind of thing. But then my dad loved like D Train, like Doobie Brothers, Steely Dan, like that kind of. So that's kind of like what I would listen to when my dad would like drive me to piano lessons or drive me to. I went to the school called the United Nations International School. Okay. Because my dad worked for the UN, so it's like all the people who work for the UN, their kids would pretty much go to the school.
Oh,
so
word.
yeah, so when I was so my dad would drive me down to that school when he's going to work. So he'd drive past the UN, take me to school, and then we just play all these like songs, just music from all over the place. And that's kind of like what influenced me to become like, you know, influenced my musical taste.
That's crazy. So if you go to the school with the UN, was it a very diverse school?
Oh yeah. They had kids from like, I mean, there were kids from like Egypt in my class, Cameroon, like,
That's
you know.
wow.
I remember my teacher, my first grade teacher is from like Sweden. So we were learning like songs in Swedish. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, so it was a very diverse school.
What was his like position in the UN?
He worked for the United Nations Development Program, so his position was head of recruiting. So he goes to basically like countries that are like, I don't know, if a country like has like a coup or something like that, or not a coup, like if the government's overthrown, whatever, the UN will come in and he'll like start like recruiting, like, okay, we need like the Treasury Secretary, we need this.
And he'll get the people who are there.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. That's a cool household to grow up in.
Yeah, it's cool. And my mom's a doctor, worked at Harlem Hospital. Gynecologist.
So this sounded like Masood was supposed to be a doctor or something.
Listen, it wasn't like becoming a DJ was not.
That's what
It wasn't. Listen, there was a point of contention in my house, in my parents' house. Trust me. Yeah, they wanted me to be like engineer, lawyer, something like that, and I was good at math. So like I grew up like I was good at math. So like I went to school for engineering. Went to University of Maryland for engineering, and they wouldn't let me bring my turntables with me. They're like, you're not gonna DJ, you're not gonna bring that DJ to college. So, but I'm kind of like a type of person that like once I have an idea in my head, it just can't. There's nothing you can't stop me from doing it. Like
Right.
I'm just gonna do it.
That's hilarious.
You know what I'm saying?
So what age was that term where you were like, nah? Well, college, I guess. Like you were like,
so I started DJing like so I was playing piano, whatever. When I moved to Westchester, I started playing saxophone.
Okay.
So I played in like jazz bands, and my parents love jazz, so they were like, they would have been happy if I just pursued that. They weren't really they didn't understand like hip hop,
right? Really.
But like when I was 15, I remember I bought my first pair of turntables from this guy who I played basketball with for like $50. Like it was like literally it was like an old Technique from like the 70s. It had like a busted Gemini mixer and another Gemini turntable, and my allowance. And I started buying records because I was obsessed with DJing. Like I would go to like, being West Indian, we'd go to like, like not block parties, but like house parties during the summer. Like at like family friends' houses, and there would be a DJ, and I'd be standing there watching the DJ. Like I'd be like, oh, I want to do that. Right. And then when I was in high school, I started like going to like nightclubs in the city because I was just like, look, I want to hear Funkmaster Flex live. Right. I'm like, I love hearing him on the radio, but I want to go to this place called the Tunnel. Like, I gotta go. I'm like 15. Like, how am I gonna get there? So like, I literally like chalked my ID, chalked my friend's ID. We got on the train, went down there. I only had like probably $40 or $50 on me. I had to pay the bouncer $20 to get in. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wow,
one Long Island iced tea, and I'm rocking out. Like,
real New York story.
Yeah, so like I used to go to like nightclubs again. Like when I started when I was 15, just to hear the DJs. Really, like obviously like the girls and shit, but like for me it was about the music. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't something I thought that I was gonna pursue as a career. Right. It was more like I was just obsessed with it. So yeah, so I was kind of like fucking around with DJing when I was in high school, and then when I went to college, I didn't really play I didn't DJ for like 4 years. Time to time I was there.
Oh, okay. Oh,
like
so you graduated in?
Yeah, I dropped out.
Okay.
I dropped out. I finished school eventually, but I did drop out. Okay. But yeah, I was at school, and like my RA was a DJ from the Bronx. There were a bunch of DJs on campus that I kind of hung out with, and I would kind of fuck around with their decks, but I wasn't good at all. I was just right. It wasn't until I dropped out, and it was kind of like I was at a point in my life where I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I've switched majors like 10 times. You know what I mean? Like I've wasted all this money. What am I gonna do with myself? So like at that point, I was like, you know what? You might as well just go do what it is that you want to do at this point, because you just
you ain't doing shit else.
What else? Yeah, what like what I mean? What else are you gonna do? So like I really so I started collecting my records because I gave up a lot of my records away. Started collecting them again, and dusted off my turntables, and so I made a demo tape that I was gonna give, because my plan was this: I was gonna give a demo tape to these little bars in White Plains, and maybe get a job there so I can make some extra money, and I'm gonna wait tables, and then like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll be good, and then get a little apartment. I'm good. Like that was my plan. That was the plan. That was my life plan, and like that was what I was gonna do for the rest of my life: just wait tables and DJ at bars. But a friend of mine that I grew up with was the head of rap promotions at Elektra Records. Actually, let me rewind. Okay. One of my good friends is DJ Sus One.
Oh, yeah.
And Sus was like the big DJ in White Plains, in Westchester, when we were in high school. So I remember I was at a record store. This is when I was just getting my vinyl collection back up. I ran into some dude, and we just struck up a conversation, and he was like, "Yo, you're dope, you're cool. You should come by and hang out with us." It's like, "Who's us?" It's like, "Yo, me and my boy Sus One were DJing at this club," and I was like, "Oh, word." I was like, "Yo, Sus is my homie." He's like, "Yeah, come through." So like, I literally was like, "All right, I'm gonna come check him." I just said, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna go to Sus's crib." That night, went on a date with some girl. We're at the movies, and I fucking run into Sus One. at the movies, which I was like, oh shit, I was just talking to your boy. He's like, yo, definitely come through. I need some help. Like, you know how to play reggae? And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I knew reggae, but I was like, I never DJ'd like a club like that. Like, I was just like, you know what I'm saying? So
I'll figure it out.
So yeah, so that's how I started like working with Sus. And like, I would just go to like, he DJ'd this club called Hollywood, which is like the big club in like New Rochelle. And I would just play reggae. So he'd play his set and like, yo, let's jump on and play some reggae. And I'd just go there, play reggae for like 15, 30 minutes, and come back on. So I was basically using his records to DJ while I was getting my collection up.
Right.
And that's kind of how I kind of got into it. And then, you know, after a while, Sus was like, yo, if you really want to start like working and doing this, you need to like have some connections within the industry. So a good friend of ours that lived around the corner from me, Corey Llewellyn, was the head of rap promotions at Elektra Records.
Okay.
So we called him up, and I was like, "Yo, I want to intern for you." So I went to the office, and literally, he's like, "All right, cool, start answering phones, shit." And I was at Elektra, for like 2.5 years. I didn't receive any college credit for it. I didn't receive I literally just showed up every day,
right,
with no badge, nothing, like. So, like, there's an actual intern program at a label where you have to go through human resources. I didn't do any of that. I just, because this is my, listen, we're on the school bus together. This is my boy. This is like, we play basketball together. The dude taught me to play basketball. It's my homie. So, like, I would just show up to the office. So, basically, I worked for free for 2.5 years almost there. Right. And I saw the intern pool come and go. I was just one of the people in the office just not getting paid.
That hunger though.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what it is? It was like, again, during this time, this is like 2002.
Okay. Yeah.
This is early 2000s. So like, you know, New York during that time was just crazy because the office was right across the street from Radio City.
Okay.
Right in right where the Rockefeller Plaza, where the skating rink it is, Time Warner building. So like, you know, we had Fabulous, we had Missy, Little Mo, and Mark Ronson.
Oh wow!
And like when I found out they had Mark Ronson and I found out who he was, I was like, shit. Like, so I was like helping promote his album, and like, you know, I remember when the Grammys were like across the street, right? The Grammys were like right on Radio City, so we'd be in the office like looking out the window, watching like people roll up to the fucking Grammys. No, MTV Awards. I'm sorry, MTV Awards.
Okay.
So yeah, so I kind of like started like through working at Elektra. I started promotions. My job was to get DJs records.
Right. Okay.
So I had to like, you know, if the new Would Miss You Work It came out.
The street team.
Yeah. So like, you know, I'd have to like, you know, after the office day is done, I would just gather up a bunch of records and just roll to the clubs. And that was my way in. So like, I had the new Missy Work It remix with 50. Like, I'd go to whatever the hot club in New York was. It was like, yo, I got this for Stretch Armstrong. Let me in. Like, they were like, all right, cool. Move out the way, like they let me in. So that's how I get into the clubs, and then I started meeting a bunch of DJs and hanging out, and you know, I was hustling, bro.
Wait, hold on. There's so many pieces of this because you got to remember, 2002. I'm dating myself, but I'm 11. So I'm not even privy. I haven't been signed yet. I'm not privy to really how this Nightlife game works. I'm not privy. So you got to think when I'm coming into like Nightlife, we're talking 2011.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or because you know I was in a little early, but 2011, 2012, like in that. So to hear you like
it's pre-Seratos.
You really used to have
So it's crazy to think about, you know, now, and again, it was so long ago. I keep forgetting that like for instance, like on Fridays or a certain day like of the week, DJs from all over the country would be like Clinton Sparks is in town from Boston. He comes and they would just make record runs. DJs would go to like Elektra, Jive, whatever, and pick up vinyl because if you want to have the exclusive for that night. If it's playing on the radio, if it's a perfect example, when 50 Cent in the club dropped, that was the biggest thing. Like it dropped. I remember it dropped like on a Thursday night or Friday afternoon. Flex starts playing it. And it's like, yo, all of New York's fucking, like, this is the biggest shit. If you went to the club that night on Friday night and you didn't have that record, nigga, just go home. You know what I'm saying? Like, you better have that shit on a tape or something. Like, you know what I mean? So you had to go to the actual Shady Records and get the vinyl. Or you had to go to Ruckus Soul and hope to God that it's not sold out.
That's wild.
And like, I remember, like, again, we had connect. Big shout out to my boy Ruben and my boy Mikey from Ruckus Soul. We used to call them dudes and be like, yo, dude, I know you got that 50, bro. Because I remember going to Shady Records, like, yo, you have in the club. He's like, brother, no, we don't got it. We can't get it.
It's gone.
Yeah, we out. So we had to go. We went to we had to go to Ruckus Soul and buy. We had one copy, so you couldn't even bring it back. We just had to let it play and just to the end and like,
bro, man, because I'm thinking days of I came in DJ City days and like Serato.
Yeah,
because I know the carrying the records. You guys have to carry all your records everywhere.
Yeah,
that's
to
one
carry
thing.
them. Yeah,
but to think someone from the street team could pull up like damn near like a messenger, like, hey, I got that new in the club. It's like, nigga, gotta let him in.
Yeah, you gotta let him in. Like, yo, they gotta play it.
wild.
Like, even if the DJ already has it, like, it's just you just tell the bouncers. The bouncers don't know shit. They don't know. But
he needs this.
Yeah, but like, again, so we met a lot of DJs. I met a lot of DJs through that, like, and I also made relationships with people at different labels. So like, I'd go to Columbia Records to get like Crazy in Love, and I'd be traded like, yo, I got the best deal. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the people who worked, the kids who interned in promotions departments were also mixtape DJs. Right. So that's kind of how they would get the exclusive. Like, and we trade exclusives. Like, yo, I got the promo of this. Give me that. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean?
Right, because mixtapes.
Yeah,
that's a whole lost art. The mixtapes made Lil Wayne's career.
Yeah, I was at Clue's crib when he was like watching, like, saw him recorded.
Wait, the
DJ
Wayne
Clue, yeah,
the Wayne stuff.
No, not the Wayne stuff. No, I'm saying I've been to DJ,
early
DJ guys
Clue.
like DJ Clue and like K Slay and fucking
DJ Clue.
Who else was doing? Sus was doing his mixtape. Did a mixtape run. Like, it was a big thing.
That was huge. So how would in that day and age they were making? Because once again, I came in the era where I was probably downloading on LimeWire these mixtapes.
Yeah, this is around the time of, like, again, this is 2002. So yeah, because I was using Napster.
Oh, Napster.
And I think I was on Kazaa by that time. So like, yeah, you could download your CDs and like.
But how are they making money off the mixtapes in that era?
You're selling them. So like, basically, what you do is you get exclusives. You do a mixtape. You go to like the mixtape shops. Like, there's a bunch of shops that everybody knew about that you would go. You have a list, and you go get your shit printed up, get your cover printed up, pack your covers, and you would go to all the shops. Like, you would spend a day, like, and you just give them on consignment. Like, it's almost like you're selling drugs. You know what I mean?
Get them shitty those thin CD case
those
covers
CD cases.
with the little.
Yo. Listen, I was at my mom's house. I found some mixtapes that I made like that. I see the way I flipped it is like I wasn't interested in being a mixtape DJ. Like, for me, it was about party. Like, that's my whole thing. Like, I loved nightlife. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was like, yo, what if I just did a mixtape, but just like a party mixtape? Like, it's just make it like it's a mixtape, but not like but like the shit that we hear downtown. Like, I'm playing hip hop, playing rock, I'm playing classics, everything. So I did a mixtape like that. And at this time, I was an intern at MTV, and I was just giving it out. I was putting in people's fucking. Like, I was that kind of guy. I was, you know what I'm saying? I was calling.
Yeah.
I remember emailing the president of MTV, like, hey, I wanted to know if anybody's booked for your holiday party. Like, who the fuck is this?
I love it.
I'm the intern downstairs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was my kind. That was my.
I love it.
That's how I kind of operated.
Shit, at this point, how many times have you worked with MTV?
A bunch of times.
I know, but see, that's my point.
Yeah,
though. That's what it takes. Even if it's not at that moment.
Yeah,
it comes back around.
Yeah, but sometimes a little too aggressive. But,
Also, you are like 6 foot something. You walking up.
No, but it was super nice about it.
Super nice.
Yeah, super nice about it. But yeah, I met so many, like, I tell you, like, working at a record label for that long, like, it literally, like, it changed my life, man. Like, I met so many people. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I remember I met DJ AM.
Oh, yeah.
I saw, because we would, in promotions, you'd always get like these mixes from, like, I remember DJ AM had a mix, and like Clark Kent had a mix, or, I've seen Quarterstone used to do these mixtapes with all these DJs from all over the country, so you get to like really hear different styles, and you know what I mean. So it really put me onto a lot.
That's great.
A lot. Yeah.
What has been your favorite era of, like, to DJ in, where the music was just, you were just excited about everything that you were
I say that era, like the 2000s, man, like 2006, 5, 6 to like Yeah, that era like was different because
Yeah.
you could go to a club and like, yo, you play anything. Like everything was hot. Like you could play, you know, obviously like the Lil Jon and like Chameleon had some shit like
Ja Rule,
Wayne.
was Ja Rule still popping?
I mean, Ja Rule was not. That was a
50 had
little.
ended it.
That was like maybe around the clapback era, whatever
Okay.
that era.
New York era.
Yeah, New York era. Yeah, you know, 50 was king. You know what I'm saying? But Ja was still doing it. What else? Yeah, Lil Jon, like you know, all Neptune's records. Like Puff was killing it. Yeah, that was a great era. And then also you could play like you had like The Strokes and you had like Jet and you had like, you know, The Darkness and like, you know, the Ting Tings and you had like
the Ting Tings were
the blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? You had MGMT and you had Justice and Daft Punk came through and like so it's like hip hop, electro, rock, house. You're just playing everything at the club. You know what I'm saying? Like I have mixes from like, because I used to record some of my sets back in the day. I got mixes from like live from like 10 June or PhD, you know, back in the day that were like you would listen to in like the first hour and a half or just like electro and 80s.
That's sick.
And like, you know, everybody's in the motherfucking club. Like everybody's in the club. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
I know nightlife hasn't been as good in today's times as it was even when I got out here in LA, like early 2000 or 2000, early 2010s. Like nightlife was a little bit better, but what was it like early 2000s? I know like the club had to be no phones, like phones,
Yeah,
but
it
like
was-
people
yeah,
ain't
it was-
taking video, like that had to be fire.
it was dope because you could kind of get lost in the night. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you
Yeah.
could just go out and just find an adventure. Like, you know what I'm saying? And everybody was everyone, again, no phones. Everyone was present. I mean, people had, like, the two-way pages.
Yeah, but that was the best you were doing.
You
Text message.
Like, downloading ringtones and shit.
That's crazy. Like the side,
Like, Beam Me.
the sidekick, I feel like was as far as we really needed to evolve.
I didn't really get into the sidekick. I had a Motorola at a two-way, and I thought that was the biggest thing ever. I got a bootleg two-way, by the way. It wasn't even like half the time it wasn't even hooked up because I couldn't afford the plan.
Oh, so you just had that bitch on your head?
Listen, all I had to do was wear like I was like, I can't work at a label and not have a fucking two-way. Come on.
Be on your phone and then pop it out.
Oh my
Act
God.
like-
I remember they had the two-way with like the phone when you could connect to your ear. I was like, I need that one, but I couldn't get it.
Oh, that was so
They
that
had a
was the
smaller
phone
one,
too.
like the new one, like yeah. But yeah, the sidekick was the shit, and then like I think I got a trio after that. But
You look like a palm.
dude, like the oversized white T-shirt with the fucking like the little
Trio.
with the fucking two-way sticking out like that.
That's funny. You had a stylist and
Yeah,
shit.
like the big ass Sean John jeans with the fucking Timberlands. Yeah, and a fucking Yankee cap with like a do-rag underneath it, looking like Dipset. Yeah, that was me.
That's
It was me. It was me in 2002. No, but like during that time was like a really fun. Like again, it was. I want to say like the music you would hear in a nightclub is more diverse. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, obviously you had your parties that were just hip hop. Like I used to DJ. We DJ'd for Derek Corley, which is like one of the big promoters, hip hop promoters in New York. He did this thing called Black Diamond. So, you know, he's DJ. Like I remember he did the opening of the Cherry Lounge in Harlem, which is crazy. Like, so we did a lot of parties like that. But like, you know, downtown you'd hear like. Again, it was just the music was really diverse, and I think it's also because the music that was coming out was just on every level was dope. Like I don't even know what rock records are popping right now, and like you know, like it's just different now. We're in a different era. So I don't really think it's like it's the people and like the youth. I think it's more just stuff that's being put out, and the music's being put out. You know, but I feel like it's changed. I feel like that's changed.
The tide
is
starting to.
Oh my God,
shift.
it's changed so much in the last couple of years. Like,
because people want. I mean, there's a reason why we still like the songs our parents listened to.
Yeah,
like, this shit was like as cliche as it sounds. Shit was really timeless. I feel like a lot of times, like even a lot of stuff in the '90s, like a lot of R&B in the '90s is really timeless. But I know, like listening to your sets, like you do a great job of always weaving that stuff in, like the stuff that will always feel good.
Yeah.
But it's like It's not a ton of new stuff that feels like that.
I mean, I would say like that was the case like 4 or 5 years ago. I feel like the tide has been changing for a while. Again, I think that like, okay, so the music that's timeless, my theory is this. Those guys like Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Prince, like Quincy Jones, like, you know, like, all those guys, they've been playing instruments since they were like 5.
Right.
And when I'm saying playing instruments, I mean like no distractions, no television,
Yeah,
no like
right.
cable. They can't watch like ESPN2 and like HBO Max. There's no phones.
That
like,
was their entertainment.
their entertainment is literally playing the fucking piano for like 12 hours every day. Like, so yeah, of course the music's gonna sound, it's just gonna sound better. Like the chord progressions are gonna be always crazy. Like they're all musical fucking geniuses. Nowadays we can, you know, because of technology, we're able to make music that sounds similar, but like it's just not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's no like diss to like present day producers, because there are a ton of like genius producers right now, and great music. But it's just like I think that that's where we were at. And then, you know, obviously like, you know, the last 5 years was like, you know, people using Ableton and like learning like in loops and stuff to create music. But I think we've kind of like are getting away from that now. I feel like there's a lot of really, really good creative shit coming out. Like if you listen to like Kaytranada or like Little Sims, or, you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many artists right now that are coming out with dope music, and like, you know, so.
Nah, that's facts. It makes you wonder though. It's like, damn. Fuck, what was I gonna say? There was
Well, you just turn off your phone and start
No,
playing.
yes, that's what I was gonna say. It was just like, man, like it makes you wonder, like, yeah, okay, I feel like for athletes, it's better that they have all like the visual.
Oh yeah.
Because it makes you better because you can consistently watch it.
But yeah, like I used to play I played basketball in high school, and I was okay. I got recruited by like some D3s, but I went to 5-star camp, and like I remember getting the 5-star manual with like, and it would have like all the drills in it, and like was like literally a book that you have to go through, and I was like, oh my god, this is what's gonna change my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember getting like the strength shoes and like seeing like, you know, St. Patrick's in New Jersey, like they had like Bob Knight. Was it Bob? No, it was what's it called? The dude's who's his coach? Who's the coach for that? Bobby Hurley's father. Anyway, yeah, he had a video where he was showing like the workouts they were doing. This is like one of the top high schools in the country. You know what I'm saying? So that was the only way I understood like what it took to like type of training it took to like be a better basketball player. Right. But I never had like a coach. But like now you can go on YouTube and literally like watch like the coach of like the NBA, like the Dallas Mavericks, show you their workout. 100%.
And that's my point. Like it creates that, but I never had that thought process with music. Whereas like, yeah, if your entertainment is playing the guitar because there ain't shit else to do, like literally it's, hey, stop playing that guitar and come over here and do something.
Exactly.
So if that's your enjoyment,
my parents try to get me, like, you need to practice. Stop watching TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I never.
Think about it.
That's a
I was watching the Coltrane documentary, and a big fan of John Coltrane, and you know there was he was I don't think people know this, but like he was a bad saxophone player. Like they played his first like demo, like when he was in the Navy, and he was just like mediocre kind of sax player, and he went from that to being like within like a year becoming like one of the greatest in Miles Davis's band, which Miles Davis is like really tough on musicians. So for him to go from that to getting into Miles Davis's band is a big deal, and you know, it's practice. It's literally the guy just sat, like you slept with his saxophone because he had no distractions. They have a rotary phone, like with a cord on it. You know what I'm saying? Like the phone might not even be in the same room. Like you can't even like, you gotta go and get it, and like, you know what I mean? Like it's just so many. It's just it's easier to be focused on your craft, and like that's what really makes you good.
Yeah, and there's no wormhole because now you go, okay, I'm gonna watch some videos about playing the saxophone. Then you go to YouTube, you start, oh wait, hold on, what's this right here? Then you start, or after your video about the saxophone, it takes you to something else. Maybe
like, oh
it's
my
not
God.
saxophone related.
Oh, what's Kanye doing today? Like,
Now you're lost. Now you're on Instagram Reels, like, oh hey,
oh yeah, what's that Kanye record? Like, oh yeah, like that's exactly how it works.
maybe I should learn how to play that. No, focus.
No, but again, like for me, like what's I'm a person that, like, again, when I'm going to do something, I obsess over it. So like, so YouTube and these platforms have been such a blessing because it's been able to like kind of, teach me. They become like a tutor for me. You know what I'm saying? And like
during
I've been
the pandemic, you were telling me you learned a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I taught myself like Photoshop because I was like I was doing live streaming all the time, so I need to design flyers. So I had a friend in New York that was like a dope designer, so I would just tell him, but I had to pay him.
Right.
And during pandemic, it wasn't really making that much money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just like, let me just learn how to do it. So I told him like, yo, when you send me the flyer, can you send me the files too? The Photoshop file, and I would just go into the Photoshop file and start. Oh, this is what's this, and like.
See, this is why
and the beginning, the flyers looks. It's like, no, I'm not sending you my files.
Nah, nigga, I'll send you what you need, a JPEG or PNG.
Exactly. But he was cool. He sent me that, and like I kind of like would reverse engineer it, then go online and learn this, and like I don't want to. So that's kind of like how I spent my time. Like it's kind of how I spend my time. Like when I'm not working, DJing, or doing this, I just always on YouTube just learning something because, I'm not saying that. Not to sound old, but like I didn't have this when I was a kid. Like if I had this when I was a kid, oh my God! Like listen,
you take it for granted. That's
I feel like people may take it for granted, but like you learn so much,
passively too. Like
passively.
Like sometimes when I'm sitting on the couch, I'll go, okay, I can sit here and I can turn on a show, or I could turn on YouTube and like pick something I want to learn about.
I have both playing for show and YouTube.
Oh, you're that guy. Oh yeah. How can you focus on?
I have ADD, so it's I'm not focusing anyway. And like I'm just literally like this all day. So like
It's hilarious.
That's why I play records so fast.
Right.
I switch records so fast.
You're like, okay, I'm bored with this.
I mean, it's a style. It's what they do in New York, but like whatever.
That's funny.
Yeah, man.
So when did you meet Kiss?
So I met Kiss. So fast forward. I'm DJing clubs in New York, like just kind of little bars and lounges and stuff. I actually my boy CL introduced me to this guy Voodoo Ray, who's like was a legendary dancer in New York City. Rest in peace, promoter. Mm-hmm. So I met him. He put me on and started like booking me at his clubs, his parties, and that's where I met like a lot of like dancers and then they wanted to hear like It was hip. It was everything. It was like more like kind of like funk and soul, that vibe. Like that's kind of like what I love to play, you know. But my goal was to make money doing this now. Like I was like, all right, like because I got offered a job at MTV when I ended my internship, and I was DJing at the time. I was like, you know what? I feel like I could make more money as DJ, even though I was only making $150 a week. So I started like, pursuing like DJing at these bigger, more like, chic, nightclubs. So I remember I used to follow this guy, DJ Reach around, and I mean, DJ Reach was playing at this club called PM, and like that was like the hot club in New York. Right. Owned by like these Haitian brothers, this dude, Kiki Unique and Dimitri. And so I was like begging his boys, like, yo, let me do this. Yeah. And like, nah, bro, just relax. Like, I was like the annoying little brother. So I remember one afternoon, it was like Friday, and they called me up at like 6:00. They're like, yo, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, nothing. He's like, yo, Reach is sick. Can you come in and fill in? And I was like, because it's Friday, everybody's booked. Like, right. I'm the last motherfucker. I'm the last person on the list. Like, yo, we got to go in. Fuck it. So I went in there, and it's funny. I had just got Serato.
Oh.
I had just got Serato like maybe like a week or two before, but I hadn't really I hadn't really played out with it. And like going from like like I used to bring like 10 crates of records to the club. Like I used to bring like every record I had almost, like, because I never knew what I needed. So like I was used to going through like all like a collection of records, but now I had it at my fingertips. So it was different. So I literally set up the computer, and for some reason I had my vinyl with me, and like my vinyl wasn't like, the needle wasn't catching the vinyl or something like that. So I put the Serato record on and it worked. I was like, oh fuck, I gotta DJ with the fucking computer.
Right.
Guess so. So I'm just going through there's no crate, I had no crates. I was just like, it was literally my iTunes thing, everything I had in there, and I was like, but I had put records in there, like songs in there, but like I had a bunch of records I wish I could find, records I'd never been able to play before. And I was like going, and it was like almost like it was like your third eye open type shit. Like it was like one of those situations where I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Like I'm playing like Red Hot Chili Peppers records and this and that, and like, so like at the end of the night, I think someone came to me and was like, yo, this is the best set I've ever heard. They were like, this is like one of the best sets I've ever heard. So crazy. So I ended up becoming a resident PM.
Nice.
And Kiss was she's one of the bottle hosts at the club.
Okay.
So she used to come up to me all the time. Like, so I used to play there every Friday. She would come up, she'd bring me drinks, we'd talk. I would always be playing like some kind of like, I don't know, some samples or whatever, and she would be like, oh, this is dope, it's a sample for this and so-and-so, and this is a sample from so-and-so. She's like, you got this record? I'm like, nah, I don't got that. But okay, do you have this record? I'd be like, nah, I don't have that. So the next week, she comes in with a CD with all these songs that I don't have.
That's dope.
And I was like, yo, you know what? You should be a DJ. Like, there are not a lot of women. There are not a lot of people that know music like this, but like there are a lot of people that look like you that know music like this. And if you learn how to DJ, I guarantee you will be like a superstar. Like you're gonna blow up.
Right, and especially in that era. There
really was 2000. Yeah, it's 2005. Like there's only a couple. There was like Sky Neller, like Beverly Bond. Who else? There's a couple in that space, but like I was like, yo, you would kill it. And she said, yo, no one wants to teach me. Like, I want to learn. So I was like, cool, I'll teach you. I was like, give me your number. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, so we exchanged numbers, and she came through to my crib for like a DJ lesson, which I thought was more like, I thought it was going to be a date. Because she brought like drinks. It's like 4 in the afternoon. It's like a Thursday in Brooklyn. Like, I was like, she came from Harlem. Like, I'm like, yo, you came all the way, like, all right.
Right.
I told my roommate, like, just give me. I'll call you when we're done. But no, she came through. We had a couple of drinks, and she was like, "Yo, she wanted to learn." So we did a DJ lesson, which I thought was so dope. So I was teaching her to DJ, and then after a while, I told her it's like the best way to learn is just come to the club and just stay in the booth with me and watch what I do. So she came through to this spot called RDV on a Wednesday night and hung in the booth with me, and I don't know what happened. We were just playing songs. We just ended up making out. Like, we just ended up like, when you're with a woman, like, you just get this, you feel that moment. Like, so yeah, we made out, and then I was like, look, I remember it was like 1 o'clock in the morning or 1:30. Clubs close at 4 in New York. And I was like, you know what? I want to take you to one of my favorite places. And she's like, right now? I'm like, yeah, right now. So I had a mix CD. I always had mixtapes, but I had a party mix in. I just threw the party mix in, pressed play, and I left the club. And next door is, because APT is next door, and APT is one of my on Wednesday nights with Rich Medina was one of my favorite parties. That's like, I learned so much at that party. So I took her next door to APT, and we just danced all night. Like, wow. It sounds cinematic because it was. I have proof of this because we literally have she has a picture of our first kiss, because she took one of those.
That's crazy.
I think she probably had like one of those disposable cameras, because that's free. Yeah, because the iPhone cameras are terrible back then.
Terrible, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so that's how we kind of connected. And then again, she was another person that like, I feel like with DJing, certain people just get it, just understand how to like keep a party moving and stuff. But also because she'd been working in nightclubs, she understood like what works and what doesn't.
And she understood what made bottles sell and what didn't, and like there's a lot of a lot of details in that when you can be on the other end.
Exactly, and plus being a woman, like the whole point, like when you're DJing a club, like you got to make the women dance. That's like that's priority number one. Mm-hmm. The women are dancing, the guys that come dance. That's right. So she just understood that too. So, after a while, I was like, look, why don't you? I'd be playing at Stereo, which was like one of the which had just opened up and was like really popping. I would have her coming on and close. Like she'd go on like 2:30, like, and the club's packed.
Right.
And she'd jump on and start DJing, and like it was so surreal because people would come up like, who is this girl? Who is she? And she's jumping on playing like NWA and Trick Daddy and all this stuff, like. You know what I'm saying? And she looks like, a model, like Naomi Campbell. She's in there playing like just the hardest, craziest, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we connected, and she like kind of started,
That's wild. And took that all the way to the Oscars.
Yeah. I was.
Damn.
I mean, there was a lot between that.
No,
obviously,
but it's amazing to see. Like that's one of the coolest things, like to see the spaces that you two are able to like permeate because of your skill level, and like it's beautiful, man. Like we don't have that, you know what I mean?
You know what? When we were coming up, like I felt we didn't really have that. I mean, there was obviously like amazing, legendary DJs that like were my inspiration, like most notably like Clark Kent, Rich Medina, fucking Kid Capri, Flex. You know what I'm saying? All those guys. But I felt like, you would look at the event space, and I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me. Mm-hmm. And when I was an intern, I was following Mark Ronson around and watching what he was doing, and like I followed his career. Like I was very much, like I said, when I say obsessed over shit, I'm obsessed. Like I would like be online going wire image, seeing who DJ'd at this party, who DJ'd on that party. Like I'm literally doing research like that back then. You know what I'm saying? So I knew what was going on, like all the parties that were going on, and like. I kept telling my boy Sus, I was like, dude, like these guys are getting paid a shit ton of money to be playing like 2 hours at a fucking, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and I would go to these events and just listen to DJs. Like, yo, I want to do this. Like, why? Like, so like to me, so I knew that was always the goal for me, as well as playing like the nightclubs that I was playing, like the the Marquees and the the 10 Junes and the the One Oaks and those kind of clubs, as opposed to playing like, more clubs uptown and all that, because I just felt like, again, for me, like it was about diversity in music. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like, as Black people, we're not monolithic.
Monolith, yeah.
Yeah, like we listen to everything, just like everybody else. So, So yeah, that was my goal from the get go. That's what I wanted to do from the get go. Right. So I kind of like I tried to maneuver and like kind of push myself towards that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that's the space to be in. I feel
like
if you're...
without losing touch with obviously like
nightlife,
my roots in hip hop and all that stuff. So, it was tough. It was tough because there's a lot of no's, a lot of like, people not calling you back and shit, a lot.
I think we're going to go the other way.
Huh?
No,
you think we're going to go the way? Yeah, exactly.
We're going to go the other way, yeah.
Nah, seriously. But again, for her, she kind of, again, for her being being amazing and a model and all that stuff, and also an incredible DJ. She just she took off. Right. As soon as she started, like from the time she closes for me at Stereo, like I swear, like within like 6 months, she's DJing NBA All Star night.
That's great.
Yeah, she's playing with Clue, the NBA All Star party in New York. I was like, what is going on? Like, I was like, I have created the person that's gonna take me out of the game. Like, I was like, oh my god,
that's hilarious.
I've created my competition. No, it was it was amazing to watch somebody like, again, because she loves it the way I love it. Mm-hmm. So to watch somebody like get these opportunities,
Right.
It's almost like I'm getting the opportunity, and that's kind of like how it was for me, you know. So that's why, like, again, that's why, like, for her and I, like, people make jokes like, "Oh, your girls," like, it's competition, obviously, because we're both competitive people, but like, it was more like, "Oh my God, that's so dope!" Like, I'm behind her taking pictures, and like, I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm at the party with her, I'm carrying her records, like, you know what I'm saying? So we realized that, you know, obviously us being together and us both doing this and us both being good at what we do, it's like, all right, we have an opportunity to really, like, do something with it. Yeah. So we again, she came from the world of PR. She was a PR. She worked in PR before she was working at the club, but the PR job wasn't paying like that. Okay. So her coming from PR, she kind of put me on to, like, yo, you need a press kit. You need to take some promo photos. Like, what is up with you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and especially in that era, there was no Instagram, so you really needed a press kit.
No, you have to, like, print it out and, like, mail it to people. You know what I'm saying? And she designed my first mixtape, one of my first mixtape covers, like my Live from Stereo mixtape cover. So
that's fucking awesome.
She was the one who knew Photoshop. I didn't know, like, so yeah. So we kind of, like, definitely, like, became a team early. You know what I'm saying, in our careers, because we just both were very driven and very, like, much focused in, like, on, you know, being the best that we can be at this.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do next, man? What's
next?
What are some things that you've had on your list that you just haven't?
Well, putting out music, definitely putting out more music. I've been working with this artist Capri from Toronto. We've been working on some, like, demos. She's dope. So it's dance music. It's like 90s kind of dance music.
Okay, fine.
Been working on that. Also been working with this dude Spencer and Lee Foss on some projects. That's kind of how I spent most of last year. But I'm also working on my own stuff as well. And also, you know, another thing I'm doing is I've been producing, movies. So I've been actually working on a couple movie projects. One of them is actually about how Kiss and I met back in, like, 2006. So it's basically about nightlife back in, like, 2006, that era. But it's like, it's kind of like a Love and Basketball meets, like, I don't even know, like, what period piece you would think, but it takes place in the club and, like, you know what I'm saying, like,
this is it's funny. That's kind of what I was imagining. I don't know why, but I was imagining the tone of Save the Last Dance.
Yeah.
When you were describing,
you said Save the Last Dance.
Just the tone of how the movie. But you remember, just like, because it's New York, it feels like, I don't know, the color palette of it.
Yeah,
that's just what I imagine.
I would say, like, the color palette.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The tone, the color palette of that. When you were describing,
you
like,
the last
y'all,
dance, like,
well, you know what it was when you were talking about, hey, and then I was like, hey, you want to see my favorite place? And then you took her to the spot.
That sounds like it sounds like a corny scene from, like,
but that's what I saw, and I was kind of like, damn. But I could see this happening in New York in the early 2000s.
That probably was a scene from Save the Last Dance, probably.
But yeah, that's sick though.
Damn it! Is that what I did?
You're like, am I just referencing?
Am I referencing Save the Last Dance? They're referencing Julia. What's her name? Julia Stiles.
Julia Stiles. Yeah, that was her name. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm working on that.
That's
so we're working on that project. Kiss and I wrote a treatment during COVID.
Okay.
So we wrote a treatment during COVID. We pitched it to a bunch of companies. Got picked up by a production company. We're working with Sidra Smith, who's, like, the head of Essence Studios, and she's, like, a veteran in the game, and she's been kind of guiding us along. And, you know, we're kind of, like, you know, we're about ready to start pitching it. So we'll be working on that. And then I have another movie project I'm working on with one of my frat brothers from college. It's crazy. It's a crazy story. I sent you the trailer, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk about that one yet, but it's insane. It's a true story and it's insane. So yeah, I've been doing that, and, like, it's funny. I've been so driven and so, like, focused on, like, the next thing, and, like, as far as, like, my DJ career,
right.
I haven't taken the time really to kind of do other things. I mean, we've been working on music for years, you know what I mean? But, like, I'd never, like, made it my focus because I was always like, oh, I gotta do this, we got this, or, like,
and you're always touring.
Award season, Coachella's coming up, we gotta do this, like, so. But, you know, since pandemic, I feel like I've kind of become more comfortable with just, you know what I'm saying, like, not having to prove myself to people
yeah.
because it's always like, I guess it's like my wife calls it imposter syndrome. Like I always felt like, underdog, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I have to like prove and like, be like, oh, I did this and show what I can do and shit. Like I'm so much more relaxed now and I'm able, so it's giving me the ability to kind of like take my foot off the gas a little bit.
Right.
And then just allow them the things that are meant for me to come to me. And just focus and be able to focus on other things that I want to do because there's so many other things I want to do myself. Music is not, being a DJ or even music is not the only thing that I've been interested in. Like I'm interested in design and like I love movies, photography. So like, I've been designing. So I designed a deck for both those projects I'm working on, and that's been like so much fun. Yeah. And so much of an outlet creatively for me. You know what I'm saying? Mm. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. What else am I doing? That's about it. I started messing with the stock market. I'm gonna say that. I started trading in the stock market, which is like, I've always invested. I've been invested since like, probably 2016, 17. Just kind of just throwing money and like just put money and stuff and just sitting. It's just sitting there. But during COVID, everybody thought they were fucking like Warren Buffett. Everybody thought they was Warren Buffett and lost all their money.
Look, some people made out all right.
Some people made out all right. A lot of people just lost everything on that.
And there were so many. What was it, crypto?
Yeah, like Dogecoin, all that stuff. Yeah.
Bro, I still got a ton of that shit.
Really?
I just held on to it. I just said, "Fuck."
Hold on to it. It's making a comeback. But yeah, so like like I did that, and like just like everybody else, made some money, and then lost a bunch, and then actually made some smart plays, and like sold my NFT and all that shit before everything crashed.
Wait, you had an NFT?
Oh my god, I had NFT. I got whitelisted for that Hate Beast, which was like one of the big ones that dropped. Dude, I literally was on this Discord. I swear to God, I was on this Discord for like fucking like a month, every day, trying to get mine like level up and shit. Like it was like a game.
Wait, how did this work? What is this?
So like, so this is big. It was this NFT called Hate Beast, which is really, I mean, again, the guy the people who created it are fucking amazing. Like it was so hyped up. Because they had like a commercial for it early when NFTs started getting popping, and it was like hate was like bape, you know what I'm saying? And like hate beast, like hype beast, you know what I'm saying? Okay. But so like was like an ape, but the ape was dressed in like the ape. Remember in Kanye wore the spike like mask? But he had like they have like different like outfits on. So they have a spike mask, and the other one would be dressed like, with like a baseball cap, but like they were like really well designed. Okay. So this shit looked crazy. So I remember my entire I was like, I gotta get one of these. So like, the whole NFT era happened. Months and months and months and months and months went by. So they finally were like, open their Discord. They're like, yo. So I got on it.
These guys.
Yeah, those are the guys right there. Yeah, so I bought one of these joints. So anyway, like I had to go. I had to like you used to get into the Discord, and you wanted to get on a whitelist, and there are only 700 spots on the whitelist, and the whitelist allows you to basically have first dibs at getting one before anyone else. Okay. So you can sit there and buy as many as you want. Oh no, you could buy you buy as many as you want. I think it is. Yeah, you can buy as many as you want. Or no, you can buy a certain amount on the whitelist. So it's like 700 people, but so. You had to be a certain level in the Discord to get onto the whitelist. And that was like, messages? And it was by like, but you had to participate in the Discord. This is how you build your Discord community. It's really smart. And again, these guys are, I'm not knocking these guys.
The marketing,
the way they put it was
tier.
fucking genius, and it definitely the artwork is dope. Despite what you think about NFTs. So anyway, I'm in this Discord, to level up to like a 9 from a 0 is like impossible in like that amount of time.
That's right.
I mean, listen, they're kids that are literally, that's what all they do all day. I have a wife. I'm like fucking live streaming, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm drinking wine. I'm trying to make sure, like, I'm trying to make sure, like, I'm trying to make sure the world don't come to an end. So I'm doing this, and then they finally were like, look, they had these different sections, and one of them was like a photography section. Okay. So the photography section of the Discord, they ended up doing like a contest. Like, all right, so we're gonna have a photo contest. The top 3 people get a whitelist spot.
Right.
So I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna do this. So like, I remember me and Kiss had gone on vacation to Cabo, and yo, the whole time I'm in Cabo, like, yo, how am I going to? I need like, because the thing ended before we left, so we're like, I had to take a picture, edit it, and submit it before we left Cabo. So we hang out during the day, but at night I'm like walking around the resort, like trying to make pictures, figure out how to do a picture. So I did this. I found this church. That's like it's empty church at night, and I snuck in, and I literally set up my camera, and I took my iPhone and just wrote "hate" in light with a long exposure. And I got back to the crib. I got back to the hotel room. I was like, I won. I was like, I won this shit. Yo, I didn't even play. Yo, I didn't even get top 3. I was like when I submitted it, I was like, I saw the winners. I was like, fuck.
This shit was cold.
But they gave me honorable mention and gave me a whitelist spot. I was like, perfect. So yeah, so I went and bought the NFT. I think it came out maybe 2 months later. I bought it. I remember I stayed up all night. It was like 8 a.m. It went on sale. I was like, boom. I want to be one of the first people.
So how much were these things going?
I spent $700 on that NFT.
Okay.
Yo, within 5-6 minutes, someone offered me $30K.
Oh, what?
Say what you want about NFTs, my brother. Say what you want to say. Shit. Listen.
Wait, what?
Now listen, my dumb ass did not sell it for $30K. I was like, because I was looking at Bored Ape Yacht Club. Oh, it's gonna be $100,000. But then you saw the Ethereum market again. It's all fluctuated, Ethereum and the crypto market. So I did end up selling it for a profit. I made probably 4 or 5 times my money that I spent.
Okay.
So I made a profit on it. But people who did, the NFT market's kind of it's in the. I haven't checked on it in a long time, but
yeah, these are those these are just those pandemic little flips.
Look, in theory it made sense. It's kind of like art is what is, art's price is based on what a person feels like they want to pay for it. Like a Basquiat is worth $1 million. Why? Because someone's willing to pay $1 million for it. Yeah. If they're not, then it's not worth that.
Yeah, but I also think sounds bleak, but a person being dead adds to that too.
Yeah. Obviously, this is one of a kind. It's never gonna come out again. But I guess the thing with these are the whole thing they were saying is that if you own it, you're getting it because it's on the Ethereum. Each time
it's resold, you get paid.
Yeah, because they were saying because it's on the Ethereum network, and they're using blockchain. That means it's printed. It's actual real. It's actually real because you can track it on the blockchain, which cannot be tampered with. If you take a photo of it and you have it, it's like having fake Jordans. Yeah, they may look like Jordans, but they're not really Jordans.
I've heard people.
You know what I mean? They're not really Jordans.
I've heard the technology behind it makes sense in that regard, where they were people will probably start putting birth certificates and things like that
makes sense
on
for that.
NFTs because, like you said, it can't. But then again, it makes me wonder, can everything be fucked with?
Blockchain is really, really. You can't. It's no one's figured out how to break it yet. Yeah. No one's been able to create a Bitcoin, like a Bitcoin.
Right.
You have to actually mine them shits, and they're only a certain amount of Bitcoin.
But see, how does that work? How is there only so many Bitcoin? Was the person who created Bitcoin only made so many and was like, I'm done? Yeah, the Bitcoin listen, it is a lot of math and it's a lot of algorithms that I don't fucking understand. But, if artificial intelligence is a real thing, then yes, I believe this guy has a certain amount of Bitcoin. Right. If your computer could talk to you, then if I can have a conversation I'm having a conversation with my computer right now, bro. Right. I'm like, hey, how you doing? He's like, I'm fine. Bro, dude, what's going on? But what I'm saying is that so you have to mine it, and every time you mine a Bitcoin, it's less Bitcoin left. So there's only a finite amount of it. It's like life.
It's like life.
Are you in the GPT?
I use Claude AI. I was using Chat GPT for a while. Okay. But I use Claude AI.
What's Claude?
Claude is I think it's some of the people who worked at Chat GPT at OpenAI. Okay. So that's the company. Some of the people from there started another one called Claude AI, which is more of an intuitive kind of it's a GPT that's able to kind of to differentiate right and wrong, and it's more creative. So like if you're like a writer, it's good for like ideas, for helping like develop ideas, write books, write dialogue for like a script.
Okay.
But I just like again, ChatGPT to me, like I was using ChatGPT and I started using that, and I went back to ChatGPT for a second, and I realized ChatGPT sounds more robotic.
Robotic, yeah.
Its responses. Claude AI is more like you're talking to somebody, a little bit more. But like again, it's the same kind of thing where like you can kind of ask it anything. I use it like Google. Like
right.
If
That's
I need
how
to
I
learn
use
something. And it also can you can input more text into Claude AI, I think. So you can actually put like an entire book, and it will be able to like read it and like.
Just put me on.
Yeah. Like I asked it, I remember when I was working on something, and I was like, "Yo, can you scan, the internet for all this and that and the third?" And it's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Okay, cool." So yeah, I'll be back. Give me about 5-6 hours.
Right.
And it just processed for 5-6 hours. It came back with like,
damn.
Yeah, so it's been really dope.
The shit about Google's new AI.
Oh, we're like it.
It refuses to make white people.
Wait, it's refused.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
So Google has this new AI.
You saw Bing, the Bing.
It's called. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
I'm thinking about Microsoft. Sorry.
No, not Bing. It's where is it? It's called Alpha. Okay, so Alphabet. Where is it? What's the name of it? It is called Gemini.
I think I've heard of this.
And after Gemini executives admitted the AI missed the mark by refusing to create images of. So basically, they brought it out, and then they started being like,
make a white person. They're like,
well,
no.
At first, people were just trying to get it to just make stuff.
Yeah.
But then it was like...
It's an image generator.
Yes. But then people were like, make a pope. Make a Viking. And it wouldn't make any white people. It would make them all... Black or brown or like Asian. Yeah. Apparently like... They lost like 90 billion in stock because of this.
Oh, this is why Google.
Yes.
This is why Google is.
This is why Google.
This is what's going on with Google. I was wondering what's going on. With Google.
They're
Google
doing.
stock is not doing well right now.
Yeah, I want to see if I can. It's kind of crazy because I mean, also you got to think people. It's kind of people are going to. Be
You're not
pissed.
gonna make white.
Yeah, like people are going to be kind of pissed
it's
about
racist
that.
It's racist they're not making white people win.
Exactly, which is kind of funny, but
it's interesting because like the whole issue with. Facial recognition and like this kind of like machine learning software was that all of the people who are developing it, obviously you have to feed the machine images and information in order for it to process and learn how to. But they weren't feeding them pictures of black people, so like. This stuff would never work for us, like as far as like the facial recognition or like image generation or like any of that stuff. It just didn't. And again, it's not to me. I didn't think it's anything racist. It's just like racist. It's more like we all have biases. Like if I'm creating AI and I'm feeding it, like I'd be feeding it pictures of my wife, and I wouldn't be feeding pictures of my wife, but I'd be feeding pictures of people that look like me. It's kind of like how that was why there's a whole thing about diversity within the tech space because of that, because of problems like that. Because again, these new programs, that we'll be using every day aren't seeing pictures like, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It needs to be more people like us in there.
This was the portrayal of
Chadwick
British
Boseman,
king. British king striving for historical accuracy.
That is funny. This is it?
Yeah, this is like the kind of pictures
the
that
British king? Like,
it's kind of crazy.
I mean, listen.
But no, so
Idris Elba's British.
Here's the issue. The issue is basically, you're right. At one point they didn't put us in there, but then the problem is if you could do this, then that makes me wonder what else
needs to be an overcorrection.
What else are you training? No, not only that. What else are you training it? Because maybe this is just some surface shit that just like, sure, white people will be mad, they'll fix it, whatever. No, what other things are in the biases of not just their AI, all AIs?
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying for us, because we're not, like you said, we're not making them.
No,
Nope.
By the way, that's another thing that's not. I don't think is true. We are all making the AI. You know when you log into a site and they ask you to like choose a car and you're like, what the fuck? Why is this the security question? It's literally it's a training AI. That's for training AI models. Also, when we use GPTs and we use like, again, this is something I read, but like, again, don't quote me on this because, I don't design the stuff, but like we are training it every time we input stuff into it. Like that's how they learn.
Shit, our Google search history.
Everything.
Just imagine how much data they have.
They have a lot of data, but also like, again, the just daily use of like, asking it to do this and inputting and asking questions, like it's learning how to interact and it becomes better. And it's how, again, it's how machine learning and all this stuff works. So,
and then it's iRobot.
I've been using it. I started using it because I've been trading. I started using it on the trading platform I use. And I haven't been trading that long.
But wait, so how?
Because that's what we were talking about earlier. We were talking about trading.
How do you use AI for trading?
So like it's basically like a machine because basically from my understanding, most hedge funds and most companies, they use some sort of like machine learning. Like they have like automatic stop losses where like they just program the computer to trade automatically. Like if the stock hits this, go up. If the stock hits this, buy. If the stock hits this, sell. Blah blah blah.
Right.
So they do that and think about it. They're doing that with millions of shares of stock. So like that's why the market will fluctuate like that. But a lot of people there's this one fund that's really like secretive about like how their process. But this guy hired a bunch of like fucking MIT geniuses, like rocket scientists basically, to help crunch numbers. And then they built like machines that just basically they feed it data through algorithms and they test it. And the fund is like 60%. They make 60%. They're 60% right. They the fund has made 60% over the last since the 80s, bro. Do you understand 60% of your money? Like it's a fund. It's impossible to get in the fund. They closed it a long time ago, but so like machine learning and AI is definitely like important because again, when you're with trading, it's a lot of it is just algorithms and just patterns. And if you can just if you get something to read those patterns and like back test and
based on history.
Yeah, exactly. It can in price fluctuation and this is one I forget, it's this one indicator that I got. I just was researching the other day. Like it basically, that's what it does. It basically takes all historical data, price fluctuations. It even factors in economic, economic events and announcements. Right. It takes all that into account and predicts where the stock. And it'll show you every trade that it would make on that crazy stock from the beginning. So you basically can go there and see when it was right and when it would be wrong. And then it literally has a percentage of how many times it was right on the trade. It's fucking amazing. But again, it's not, before anybody buys any of that, this is not financial advice. I hear people say that shit all the time on YouTube. I don't know if I don't know if it means anything.
I'm not an accountant.
I'm not an accountant.
Advice.
Do not listen to what I'm saying. Don't.
But listen, I made $30K off an NFT. So
no, I not make $30K. But yeah. So with these things, I think it's it's just another tool in your toolbox. So you got to use multiple tools and your own kind of thing. So I'm still learning. I'm still learning. You know what I'm saying? But I probably have 100 hours of YouTube videos I've watched in the last 48 hours.
Last time I called you, you're like, "Yo, yeah, man. I was just up trading,
bro."
Because the market's open, in New York. I was like, "Oh, he hit it."
Yeah, but no, it's been again. I'm part of this group chat. That I've been part of for the last 6 months, and I guess in the last 2 months I started hey, let me try this again, and again it's it's like anything, I started oh, this is interesting, and you started crunching the numbers and understanding it. I'm oh, this is cool, now I'm it's almost I'm like interested. It's
A
got
new
it's got
journey.
my attention.
Yeah.
So now I'm like focused. Like, oh, I need to learn this. I need to learn this. And what does
Right.
this do? You know. So
Look, man, that's dope. And thank you, man, for coming through.
No, thanks for
talking
having
to
me, man.
This was fun. This is a lot of fun,
Yeah,
bro.
we should definitely do this again.
Hell
Probably
yeah.
more.
You let me know whenever. You know, yo.
Yeah, we need a
ADD,
fan
you
next
all
time.
go-
I'm sweating my ass off for these lights, bro.
Next time we're gonna get you a fan.
No, listen, when I was live streaming, like these same lights. And
All
I'm like,
right. Yeah. But nah, thanks again, bro. Yeah, I'll see you this weekend. I'll probably pop out.
yeah, jump out in a minute, man.
Yeah. I'll be in the house, bro.
Listen, it's nothing wrong with being in the house. That's how you get better.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But thanks again, and we out.
Peace.
Peace.